on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to another episode of Starchasers, Girls Talk Ball. As you know, my name is Mickey. I got my girl Star here with me on another Wednesday evening. How you doing? How you doing today, Star?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you, Mickey. Glad to see everybody in the chat tonight. Really appreciate y'all being with us and rocking with us tonight. Got to get into some things. Not as happy as we were last week, of course. Hey, Niecy.
Right. What's up, Niecy? How you doing? Back on be in the building, Sports Junkie as well. What's up? What's going on, family? Everybody in the building.
What's up, Sports? Glad to see you because, instead of doing the blowing out, we got blown out. So, unfortunately,
right.
Any given Sunday type of league, and you can be up
right.
And
down for one. I'm glad you pointed out for once we were actually on the other side of that this time around. Yeah. Something we didn't expect. We didn't expect our guys to go up there. And I don't want to say a no-show because we know they had to line up. We know they had to play and go out there and give their effort. But for it to look like, even midway through the game, third quarter, we're looking at our boys like, are they giving an effort? What's going on? Are they, what's going on with the play calling? What's going on with the defense? What's going on with these crazy penalties? Like we didn't have a lot, but these type of penalties,
it was just penalties at the time that killed our drives. And unfortunately, this was a game that we just got out schemed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew, you listened to Mike, you listened to Dak. They said we knew we had to go into this game. We had to play the long game, which means, we basically had to run the ball, dink and dunk it up the field. We faced defenses like this year. So this wasn't a surprise. We faced the Jets defense. We faced the Panthers defense. We faced, what's another team that kind of sits in cover 4 and too high? I can't remember, but I know the Jets and the Panthers stand out, right? So, and y'all saw those game plans. You run the ball, you take what's underneath, you do long play drives, you control the clock. And that's what we thought we set out to do. But when you watch the film, you see that we stopped running the ball the second drive of the game. It was literally pass. I don't know why we.
Are we back in week 5? Were we back in San Fran on Sunday, Star? Please talk to me about this. Were we back in San Fran on Sunday?
It definitely seemed like that because we haven't used, this was the lowest we've used motion.
Exactly.
Right. This was another game where the game plan seemed weird because they said we had to play the long game, but it's like, okay, well, why didn't we stick to the run game? Especially when you saw Tony Pollard, like I literally said on Twitter, if we had stuck with Tony Pollard, he was going to have a career. He was maybe a career game or just a game of the season.
Right, exactly.
He's running really, really, really hard, these past couple of games. And I think he
averaged, 4.2, 4.3 yards per carry?
Yeah, something like that. I got to look it up, but
let me see.
He was running very hard. And
definitely 11 carries, 52 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like on that pace alone, because we see, like you said, they abandoned it very early. So for him to have,
it was literally the very next drive. No cap. The very next drive was seriously pass. Yeah, he averaged 4.7 yards per carry. So he was eating. He was eating on the ground. He was clearly running like he was the game plan, but I think they got away from the game plan. They're like, we have better weather, but then you're going out running these stagnant routes, and the weather wasn't raining as hard. But when you watch the all 22, you can see the goalpost flags. They're like going everywhere.
Even before halftime, we saw just how I forget who posted it on Twitter. I think it was Patrick No-C Walker who posted it on Twitter, who showed the flag just before halftime and how much the wind was actually blowing. And we saw, like you just mentioned, in the second half, the rain coming down even harder in the second half. Right. So the time to take advantage as far as play calling, as far as managing how time possession, like you mentioned earlier, would be early in the game when the weather wasn't that bad. Going into the game.
Yeah, I mean, the wind really, it was clear because I think Patrick and maybe Michael Gilkin, they had posted the flags before the game and they were barely moving. But
exactly.
them flags was moving. By the end of the first half, they were flying violently. So, and I do attribute that to why some of Dak's passes were high. The pass that everybody. What's up, Stephen White?
Hey, Stephen White. Everyone's back in the building. Swain as well. How you doing, fam?
The pass where Dak missed Cooks on the second play of the game.
Right. And I don't mean to cut you off, but that type of play that early, number one, it kind of hyped me up. I'm sure other people, felt the same. Hyped you up as a fan, but also at the same time, like that early in the game, not to say it, took away the confidence we had, but just for like not even the gut punch, but it's like, oh man, like, and it was good to see them kind of take that kind of chance early in the game.
I don't like. This happened to us in the San Fran game as well. And I've had a post about this. When Dak comes out in the games, he is amped. And Mike needs to do a better job. They all need to do it, because now when something becomes a pattern, then you need to know, okay, do a better job of getting Dak's getting his arm settled, right?
Exactly. Get into a rhythm.
Like, why are we always, let's take this deep shot, let's take it.
Yes, exactly. What's up, JC?
We just don't need to be doing that. And I get it. You're trying to like do this shock value. It's great. It's not like we didn't move the ball after the pass. We moved the ball, then we end up getting a freaking holding penalty by Tyler.
Exactly.
There's something else we got to talk to, because Tyler Smith, as great as the year as he's having, he's leading the team in holding penalties.
Correct.
So that also needs to be discussed, because it's like, how many times are we going to have drives wiped out because of freaking penalties?
Right, exactly.
Dak has to, as he's doing his reinforcements in the huddle, he needs to be telling the guys, like, do not hold. Like, do not hold.
Period. Right.
If they beat you, just let them beat you. Just let them beat you. Because guess what? Getting some yards or getting no yards is better than moving 5 more yards. Exactly.
Especially being in your own territory, because that's a lot. And sometimes where some of these penalties do occur when we're not even midfield, and it's kind of like it kind of takes the gas out of the drive, if you will. And sometimes we are able to overcome that, because, like you say, we do take those chances early and often, and we are able to move the ball in between the 20s. But so when we do have another one of those critical penalties in the red zone, I'm saying, and when those, like with the Terrence Steele. Like the Steele penalty that called back the Pollard touchdown, and that we've seen on those instances, that definitely slows down the game.
I mean, people talk about the Eagles game. There was a lot of penalties that caught us back in that game.
Right.
And it's just like, God, we've got to get better about the freaking penalties. Yeah. And then you talk about Sam Williams. I do not want to no special teams.
Star, I got a question, and this is something I thought of while I was at work, and it's kind of a random thought, but you know how we kind of talked about how, not saying they're the same type of player, but we saw last year how Turpin wasn't really involved like that, right? Mm-hmm. Because we just saw him on special teams, and not saying we only see Williams on special teams, because he does get snaps on the offense, but we know that some of his reps do get taken away when Parsons does hold the edge, or when, other players do get those snaps. Yeah. So do you think, and I know they're trying to get him more work when he is on special teams, but you think because he's not getting as much work on the field that he's, when he does get that work, he wants to get the big play? And I know that, there is the whole context of, Bones did make that play on his own. He didn't go to McCarthy, so he made that decision to go with Williams. But do you think maybe sometimes he just kind of has that antsiness about him, that he just wants to make a play so bad, or he's on the field, he's getting his chance, like, he wants to blow up so bad that he left his feet jumping 10 feet in the air. You know what I mean?
That's possible. Sam definitely needs more reps at the actual defensive end position. And I think get that if I know it's a big controversy in Cowboys Nation, but if we allow Micah to play some linebacker, no one is saying to move Micah to linebacker permanently. No one is saying.
Exactly.
What we're saying is let Micah be the versatile player that he is. He can play linebacker. He can play defensive end. Let him play both positions. Why do we have to stifle who our player is simply because he's good at one thing. That's what we're trying to get to understand. And there's some trolls on Twitter posting game film from last year, like, oh, look at these bad reps in Green Bay. Okay,
20 seconds out of a whole game.
But exactly. But look at his rookie year. He played off linebacker a lot. Look at this year. Right?
Exactly. And if we look at that so-called 20-second play, Micah actually stopped a similar play to that. I think it was in the Lions game where he actually, I think went 15 to 20 yards and stopped the potential touchdown.
Yeah, he did. Like, that's the type of stuff we're talking about. Like, you just can't pick out and then they're trying to say, oh, look at his stats. I'm like, he doesn't that many snaps. But we know his best year, his rookie year, when he was freaking all over the place, where he became the Micah Parsons, was when he was edge and linebacker, not just edge. These teams now have figured out how to erase Micah Parsons from games. And I'm tired of our best player being eliminated from games.
And he's already going through the frustration of being held, because everyone sees he's being held, but we know he's not going to get a call. He's not going to get, like you said, he's being tackled. All they know is, like you said, erase him off the field, push him to the left, push him past the play. And we see even on the play, like if he happens to be an offense.
Like, I'm tired of it. I'm done talking about the holding calls. They're not going to give it to us. Right. That's something that's going to have to be useful on the offseason. Jerry, whoever, they're going to have to write a letter. They're going to talk to them and talk about it. They're going to have to get the game film, talk to the refs, and discuss it. But for right now, they don't call holding penalties on anybody on our defensive line. I think it's been half because we're the Dallas Cowboys, and second because they know we have the best pass rush in the league. And if they call holding penalties every play, we wouldn't be able to get through a game. So that's just the bottom line. But if we were able to move Michael around and stop just locking him at edge, allowing our best player literally on the team to get erased, like, there's no reason. And people are talking about games like, I know Micah, he was upset in the Panthers game. He was upset in the Giants game because he didn't get access. But I'm like, you made a huge impact in that Giants game. Reason why we blew them out a second time is because you were the Saquon Barkley eraser.
In the run game, right? And early on, him and Lawrence started very early in that game.
Pass, not just in the run game, but in pass coverage. Like, I bet you if Michael Parsons was on James Cook, that second touchdown, or it was either the first or the second touchdown that James Cook got with Josh Allen through, and he got that touchdown on Damone Clark, who's not twitching. He's fast out of the sideline, but he doesn't have that agility. I bet you that would have been a
I'm surprised to see him in coverage.
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I literally said the other day, I'm like, I don't know if y'all play Madden, but in Madden, it'll just, if you don't set your depth chart, it'll just have people all over the place. And you'll be like playing the game, be like, what is this person doing on my field? And why is he in that position? And that's exactly what Dan Quinn does. We got J-Ron lined up at free safety. Why in God's name do you have J-Ron who cannot cover at free safety? He hits Khalil Shakir. The pass is way above Khalil Shakir's head.
Right.
All J-Ron has to do is go.
I'm so glad. Look, I was actually watching a film breakdown, and actually to see where the ball was actually going. All I had to do was look up. All I had to do was look up, bro.
You're too busy trying to make a hit. Like, they once came into
lay it on them.
They once again came into their game trying to win the fist fight.
Right.
Like San Fran. Like, y'all trying to win the fist fight, but y'all not trying to win the football game.
Exactly. Focusing on the physical rather than the mental. Just like San Fran. Like, just like you talk about with San Fran, you put too much thought into it.
Physicality so much. Gotta be physical. Gotta be physical. Instead of focusing on the mental aspect of the game.
Exactly.
And a big part of that. What's up, James? Like to see. A big issue of that is because of Dan Quinn. And I'm glad Boston them said it yesterday. Those play on the shout out to the Boss Cowboy, Big Game James, Law Nation, the OC. They do
on a word on
Tuesday. And they finally said, I said this. Those players, they respect Dan Quinn, but they do not fear Dan. And you can tell the penalties, undisciplined. You're allowing
for weeks on end. For weeks on end. And we start, and we talk. I'm sorry to cut you off. We start talking about penalties early in the season, but week 5 is when they kind of hit a pinnacle where we saw just back to back on the opening drive, as far as the defensive opening drive.
The league in penalties. We lead the league in penalties again, and majority of them are on the defensive side of the ball. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Coach Marv, how you doing?
Glad to see you, Coach. Absolutely, Coach. Like, Micah, is he fully bought into the position? No, but you know who I'm on? Dan Quinn.
Exactly.
Dan Quinn he allows his players to tell him what they're going to do. Because your player, you see, when Michael Gallup was effing up, he has now been effectively benched. He does spot work, and that's his role now.
And McCarthy did that within a game.
He did it
between the first half and the second half. We saw Gallup, and we saw Tober in the beginning of that third half of the game.
And when Tober effed up in that Panthers game, have we featured Tober anymore? Absolutely.
Right.
We don't play those games on the offensive side of the ball. But you have Dan Quinn, you're seeing your favorites game in and game out, F up, not do what they're supposed to do, penalty after penalty. And what do you do about it? Nothing. You just hold them out there again. You're still having
the same thing.
That's why I call him. That's why I say he lost his name again, Dan Moore, because he has his favorites. He's my scheme is my scheme. I'm not changing it from right. I don't care who I'm facing. And I tell you what, Dan Quinn pulls that crap this week, thinking he's going to stay in man coverage all game. He's going to stay in basic cover 3 all game. The Dolphins are going, just like Big Game James said, they are going to embarrass us. Mike McDaniel is that type of, excuse my language, he is an asshole. So if he can literally put up, he held back against the Broncos.
Right.
But if he can put up 100 points on the Dallas Cowboys, he will. He will.
Right.
If he can make his A-Chain and Mostert have historic numbers against us, each run for 200 yards, each have 5 touchdowns.
Right. And you have Hill trying to reach 2,000 yards by the end of the season.
Like, this is a game where they are going to flat out try to embarrass us. And this is
and they'll have their defensive players back who they didn't have early on in the season.
Right.
Davian Howard, Jalen Ramsey.
This is Vic Fangio, who their defensive coordinator, the one who put out the blueprint in 2021 on deck, doing cover, the shell look. It's cover 4, cover 2. This is what he does, which we know how to beat it, but there's a specific way you have to beat that scheme systematically. That's why I want people to hold the brakes. We don't lose back-to-back games, and Dak is gonna be on fire. I'm like, look. Y'all need to understand that Vic Fangio, this is a game where you have to be consistent. This isn't a game where Dak's is gonna be able to sling it all over the yard. He's gonna have all these touchdowns. He's gonna have all these about. Well, Will Levis put up 300. I'm like, Will Levis. Like, did you watch the game and see the passes that he was throwing? Like, a lot of that stuff was lucky balls to D Hop, some rack, It's not like, I don't know what to tell y'all, but do y'all think that he's gonna play Will Levis the same way he plays Dak Prescott? Like, think.
Not at all.
Like,
we saw them put up I know it's the Jets, but we saw them put up 30 points on the Jets, and that was without Tyreek. So and I'm sure they looked ahead and saw Dallas Cowboys and was like, okay, we're playing the Jets.
And the Jets is a stout defense.
Right.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like, if Dan Quinn hasn't made any adjustments, the offense is going to have to protect that defense by doing exactly what we were supposed to do last week.
Right.
Long, methodical drives, because pretty much the only way that you're going to be able to stop that offense is to keep it off the freaking field.
Exactly.
That's exactly what the Bills did. It's like, hey, let's just keep them off the field. The run's working. Joe Brady and Josh Allen said, we weren't really playing it because you could tell in the first half if they were running and passing.
Exactly.
Hey, once we got up 3 scores in the second half, we noticed Dan Quinn just said, I'm gonna just keep running my nickel and dime package.
Right. And it was almost predictable. It was literally predictable. You could just see Josh handoff. You know what I'm saying?
And Dan Quinn refused to get out of his. I froze. Are we still here?
Yeah, you still here? I still hear you.
Okay.
Let me see.
Either way, Dan Quinn just flat out. You can hear me, but can you see me?
No, your picture still froze.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You frozen too.
Let me see. See if you can refresh your Let me see.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of my computer just kind of like doing a weird thing here. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, let me see. I don't know what it's doing. I'm sorry, guys. I might have to go out and come back in. It's kind of frozen. Nikki, can you kick me out?
Let me see. All right, you guys, just going through some technical difficulties right now. I'm going to see if I can get started, come back in.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to go out and come back in, but my computer.
See if you can re-click the link and then come back in.
Okay, I'm trying to do it, but my computer just randomly like froze on me. I don't know why I did that, but let me see if I can force quit it.
Just bear with us for a second, y'all. Just working through. In the meantime, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button. And if you listen to us on Twitter, make sure you guys give us a retweet, give us a like. You never know who's listening. Just trying to get our voices out there. Some up and coming content creators for the Cowboys. Just preparing for the Miami Dolphins coming up. Just going through some of these comments. NC says Dan Moore just to make adjustments. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like we were just talking about, as far as scheme, sending the right personnel out there. Like this past game we saw linebackers just kind of, just didn't focus on making the right fits, just kind of hesitating. Just kind of wondering what gaps to kind of rush, and it was definitely just lowers kind of our confidence in what we see with our guys from out there. Oh, there we go. All right, there. All right, bet. All right, cool.
All right, I don't know what that was. Computer just kind of.
This music froze kind of for a second too. We came back in.
Okay, but
right.
Yeah, if Dan Quinn says I'm gonna stick to my scheme and all that type of stuff, which he likely is, because he's like Kellen Moore, bro. They don't change. Like it does not matter. And maybe the only way I see Dan Quinn changing is if Mike literally went to him this week and said, "You better make adjustments on your scheme.
Yeah,
you better make adjustments on your scheme."
Yeah,
because that's the only way.
Because it definitely stuck out this week, and like I said, just kind of watching back, it definitely opened my eyes a lot watching back Quay's film breakdown, just seeing the hesitation, and of course it makes sense in hindsight, watching it in slow motion, seeing these guys, wondering which gap to take, but in fast time, even just those slight second hesitations, or even just a slight motions.
That's the problem with our linebackers. We have young linebackers that they haven't seen anybody. We saw Evans do it. Evans was doing well when Dan Quinn had him on the field in the first half. Evans made an impactful play at the goal line.
Star. He got a touchdown, essentially played for a touchdown.
Then he made another impactful play where he tackled Dalvin Cook from behind, just like you would see DLR where they can lay out and get your foot or whatever. He did that.
Right.
So, but Dan Quinn benched him the whole second half. He was benched.
Right. And even after Clark went out, he came in the next play. I think that was the next play.
Yeah.
He made an impactful play and it was right off the field again.
He just benched Evans again. And then decided to put Wanye on the field, which I'm glad Wanye's on the field. but we need another linebacker, not more safety.
Right.
And then Dan Quinn is so unaccountable. Just like Kellen Moore, you ask them questions, they don't answer the question. They dance around the question.
Right.
You're blaming it on.
And then they don't vote, and then they don't challenge him either. The media does not challenge Quinn.
It's just our And then Dan Quinn, he called himself. He seemed like he was getting irritated. Like it's just our tackling, and that's the standard they set for themselves.
Play our ball. You even heard you hear Clark say it. You hear Kerr say it. We got to play our standard of ball. We got to play our standard of ball. Well, we just didn't. That's why I feel like with the defense. We just didn't play good today. That's not good enough. Right.
Like, you see, Mike, he will give you those BS answers, but then he's going to show you in the game, I made adjustments.
Right, exactly. And that's what also gets me about the media. It's like we talk about that with Kellen Moore, and it's not about the media, but we see them, even get down to nitty gritty with questions challenging Mike on his offensive play call.
Oh yeah,
before the half ended, how do you feel about the decision you made about not going for the points as opposed to getting the field goal?
Oh yeah, they asked that question.
You're not questioning Dan Quinn on his scheme and the personnel he has on the field. Like,
they asked him specifically, like, do you think that you've been exposed, Dan Quinn? Every 3-4 letter network had your game film up.
Right.
Saying you're undersized, but they've been asking Dan Quinn these questions since training camp. Like, okay, I see you like Marquise Bell, but don't you think he's a little bit undersized? Oh, no, he's not. Now, remember, go back to training camp. He's not undersized. Best thing I like about him is he just really knows how to hold his ground. Is that what the film said? Is he holding his ground? Because the film said he's getting pushed out of the way like a bowling pin.
Right.
Forget about that. Don't you think, Dan, that you're probably a little bit, you're asking safety.
And for real, you actually hear every announcer say it during every game. Almost during every announcement. Every announcement starts saying, well, these guys are kind of undersized, but they're getting the job done. Or these guys are undersized. Look at these linemen. Like, these are 300+ linemen they're going up against. They send these guys out again.
And we're going to have to deal with Greg Olsen again. He's calling the game again. So he's going to be sitting up there saying, yeah, they got destroyed. Yep, right. They did the same thing last week. Still running 4 or 5 safeties out there.
And we've actually seen a lineman actually fall on Clark. That's the reason why he went out the game. So to see that, like, he actually landed on him.
Hawkins rode him like a
you can't, and that's just, and I'm not saying you need an example.
Is so and it's because we don't have anybody. We do have somebody, but Dan Quinn won't play them. All they've ever seen was LVE, who is more of a catch tackler. But the thing is, LVE can be a catch tackler because LVE is cerebral. LVE knows to play. LVE put in the work, so he diagnosed
to watch the film. Exactly.
LVE, he'll too be hesitant, but we've also seen games, aka the 49ers game. Both times we played him, he's the one making open field tackles. Making open field tackles. But see, when you have a Damone Clark and a Marquise Bell, this is basically their rookie years.
Right. And
so they don't know the plays. They don't know the plays. They don't know what they're doing. So they're just like, instead of just hitting the hole, I'd rather you just hit the hole and be wrong. Be like, what? But at least it forces that running back to say, okay, I got to choose a different hole to go through.
Exactly.
Just sitting there, if you wait a point,
because they're watching you. Exactly. Just like Corey said, they're watching Bill. So if you're looking hesitant, they're going to use that to their advantage to go around you. And we saw him. I don't know if it was the center or the guard, but we saw Cook constantly following the guard. He was literally pushing that guard at Bell, like, get out of my way. Like, I'm going past you, but you have to go through him.
He was a bowling pin. He was a bowling pin, and he just continued to get
getting turned every way. You know what I mean? Like, and same thing with Clark. He was guessing out there, or running half speed.
And I'm
not sure which way to go.
I don't know what happened, but Clark, I missed on that. I missed on that tape because I did a whole show. Coach still in the chat. Did a whole show about who should be our middle linebacker. And I thought it was going to be Clark, but this year,
I thought he was going to have a great second year. He was one of the guys I talked about before the season started. He was going to be having a second year jump.
Yeah, I mean, I was wrong, but it's not my fault because the film last year showed
it didn't lie.
He's great this year.
Right.
But this year,
especially starting because he didn't start last year and until mid-season. So for
October, he didn't come into October. So, and that was right after he had back surgery. And
exactly
saying no one loved football more than Damone, and he really studied the game. But I'm like, I don't see that this year from Damone. Damone has been very mid.
Yeah,
he's been very, very mid. He has not really been that super impactful player. He said, "What do you think about Stu visiting with the Dolphins?"
I just think they just
really. I mean,
they play us this week, so I think they just wanted to put a little chirp out there. It's my opinion.
Basically, I mean, that's all that I can assume. Of course, we were saying maybe we go get Sue to kind of help shore up the run defense. But I do agree with Coach Marv that stopping the run is a mentality, and in order for Micah to play that position, he needs to buy in, but that comes from the coaches. That comes from the organization. They have to tell him, like, hey, this is why you should buy in.
Exactly.
Like, we need him to play both positions, but they're allowing him. And to me, that's messed up, Micah, because it's like you're choosing you over the team.
Right. Exactly. And you can actually see his effectiveness when and even if it doesn't make an impact. Every single play he has.
It throws them off. It makes them change their game plans.
Exactly. And it will, not necessarily, I can't say it will, of course, for every play, but it could essentially leave another player open to make an impact because they're not sure whether the game plan for Michael or that player or someone else.
We had a base package. And another thing with Dan Quinn, how he's trying to fit the run. Like, you have guys all misaligned, out of alignment. So the bill was just like, so you only got two people over there? Oh, well, we're just going to run that way. Oh,
you only got guys on the same side.
You got Micah and D-Law stacked up, which that's good for pass rush stunting, but that's not good. That's what I don't understand from it. It's like you saw that they weren't going to pass the ball, and you just said, I don't care, I'm just going to stay. And because of that, our offense couldn't get into a rhythm.
Right.
Our offense could not get into a rhythm at all.
Wow.
And so I hope this week, if we get the coin toss and we win, we got to take the ball first.
Yeah.
We need to at least put 3 points on the board.
I agree with you on that one.
We have to score first, and we got to put pressure on Miami, because the thing is with Miami is if Tua is protected and clean, he's going to get that ball out. He's very accurate. He's going to get the ball to his wide receiver. Yeah. If you get pressure on Tua, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah. And he's a short quarterback. So got to DMV who pointed that out, who kind of made me feel better, because I was like, to be honest, I'm scared. Like, this offense, if Dan Quinn's just going to stay in his scheme, we're not going to stop it. But you do have to remember, we do have the number one pass rush in the league. We do have super, super tall guys, which is a disadvantage for Tua, right? So this is the game where you got to get heavy pressure. But I still think the best game plan is to have our defense on the field as little as we can. Yeah. I definitely agree with you. I think, and especially giving him that break in between, so in case there are times where because they do have Chubb, they do have Van Ginkel, they can't put that pressure, rushing from both sides. So in case we are put in the position where we are put to 3 and outs, the defense does have that chance to be able to rest, because they do have weapons like Mostert. I think he has 21 touchdowns this season. Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, he's at 31 or 30 years old. A-Chain averages, he's old, and A-Chain's averaging. He's only got less yards and touchdowns because he was hurt for a long time. I think they had to put him out for a while. But he averages 8.5 yards a carry.
Right, Jalen Waddle. I think he's. I don't know. Is he fully healthy now? I know he was kind of up and down at the beginning of the season. I think he's
fully healthy now.
So he's just.
They put that on Twitter. Their whole O-line is out. I'm like, trust me. Everybody will be playing this game. Right. And here we go, Tua on Twitter talking about he grew up a Cowboys fan and all of this. I'm like, you see what I'm talking about?
Why does it always seem to come out like the week of the game? Like they all of a sudden they came up with when we played Washington.
His whole family was a Cowboys fan. I watched him when I was in high school. And I'm like, you see what I'm talking about? Everybody who wants to play us, they play us with some vengeance. You didn't draft me, or they just want to show out because this was their team. Right. It's like,
right, every week there's always just some kind of narrative trying to connect with the Cowboys.
It always is. It never freaking ends. And I do, ultimately, yes, the Bills game definitely caught us by surprise. I did not expect. I expected us to win, even when we were down 21-3. I still thought, we're going to settle down. We're going to win this game.
Yes. And really just I don't know, just something I kind of took from, like, before they went to halftime, even just having that 2-minute drive right there, I think even striking right there really could have put, like, a lot of momentum.
That was a mistake there. We had to, when we did not score that first drive, I knew it was a wrap. I said, we had to score the first drive of that second half or it was a wrap.
Right.
And I think this was also a game where the whole offensive side of the ball was just pressing. And this wasn't a game where we could press. We knew what we had to do going into the game. And it just felt like we just kept trying to get deep shot after deep shot. Then we weren't even attacking the middle of the field. Because one thing, when we went to Brandon, what'd you say?
I kind of like it should be like in the middle of the field with Jake Ferguson. So, and it seemed like he was kind of like on target as well. So I'm like, why are we not?
Everything was outside the numbers. We kept trying to attack deep outside the numbers when the middle of the field was pretty much open all day. Okay. Now, granted, there was a Bills content creator who said that they had somebody watching the scene, but that's okay. I will take Jake Ferguson. I think they had like Teron Johnson watching the scene. Okay, I will take Jake Ferguson over Teron Johnson. If he wants to try to man him up or whatever, let him try to man him up. Get the ball to Jake Ferguson.
Yes, please.
Like, that's another thing.
I wouldn't even mind. Even I know we saw that deep shot early in the game. I wouldn't even mind us. I know we saw that throughout the game more. Us trying to take, at that point playing hero ball and things like that. But I would like to see that more of that the first time. I know we kind of got conservative a little bit, kind of dialing it back with the run game. But I still would like to see Mike McCarthy still kind of get into his bag a little bit, trying to get more of a playmakers involved. Because just continuously going to CD, we know it seemed like our receivers couldn't get open.
He was trying to get, because in today's NFL, you can't just say, I'm going to have my players line up and they're going to be your guy. Everybody's a super athlete. Everybody's fast. That doesn't work anymore. This isn't the 90s or the 80s or the 70s.
Right.
This is 2023, about to be 2024 football.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You have to scheme. That's why we use motion in the modern NFL, because you have to throw off athletes. The athletes on defense are super athletes, just like on offense. Why you think? Look at Mike McDaniel, Shanahan, right? Those have one of the two most talented rosters in the league, offenses in the league. Mm-hmm. Just about everything that they do is scheme. They don't ask Debo, even though they got Debo and George Kittle and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and all of these people, and Christian McCaffrey and Devon Achane. They got all of these bona fide playmakers, but they don't ask them, hey, just line up and beat this guy. It's not going to work.
Exactly.
We messed our own self up by not using all the wrinkles that we added to our offense. We erased it and went right back to the game plan we ran against San Fran. And that's why that's why our offense looked the way that it looked.
Exactly. And it seemed like even against, like you just mentioned, like us using more motion at home than on the road game. I think that just kind of takes away just a kind of a stride in confidence that we have in our team.
That's not true. I thought it was true, but then Sky pointed out the numbers. We use motion like 60% versus the Rams in LA. We used to like 60, 50, 40, high percentages in Carolina. Mm-hmm. So we use motion on the road. I don't know why in this game we just said,
Not at all.
Like, who's
this? Seen it because it did just seem to disappear. Like I just hate that it's just the variety that we see at home. That we just kind of get our guys more of a rhythm at home, and just not being able to get that confidence built on the road, not being able to even just seeing little wrinkles, even seeing the end around at the end of the game with CD scoring the touchdown. I was just like,
why didn't we run that? Why aren't we putting Turpin on jet sweeps every game?
Please, right? Turpin had yet another I think 30 to 40-yard gain on the end around this past game,
and it's
like we go right away from it.
We were trying to get CD Lamb and Brandon Cooks going, but it's like quick screens and stuff like that. We couldn't get it going because when we did the screen to Brandon Cooks, we were just totally outmanned. It was like we were sitting in Brandon Cooks and two defenders against like four Bills defenders. I mean, Brandon Cooks and two blockers against like four Bills defenders. That's not going to work. The math says that's not going to work. And then we turned around and tried to hit Tony Pollard for a screen. Then Tony Pollard falls.
Slip right up.
This is what I'm talking about.
I was like, that's why we were just, I didn't say we all, but we just was having an off game when Tony just flat out fell. Like,
it was just a bad day at the office. We got away from our game plan for no reason. Yeah. The Bills beat us with the system. They beat us with the scheme. That was it.
Right. And I've even heard, some I think, I forget where I heard it from. I think it might have been on Talking Cowboys Wrestling. Even before now, the Bills wasn't even really a run heavy team before this year. They weren't really using Cooks like that.
Yeah, and I think I had started, and I think I misspoke about that because I knew that they were running the ball a lot more ever since Joe Brady came in as the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Joe Brady, he was already there, but they really started running the ball and featuring Cook. So I knew they was going to run the ball for sure, but they definitely, them lining up and running the ball like 10, 20 times in a row, that wasn't expected. But they said that was not the game plan. They only did it because they were trying to force Dan Quinn out of the nickel defense, but he refused to do it. And so thus, we got our tails kicked. I mean, as simple as that. It's really not much with this Bills game to really
break that. Like there's really no details to break, and I kind of got that. You kind of got that. Just watching the initial press conferences early in the week from Mike McCarthy, really just offering like, look, they play better than us. Even the players, like, look, they are more physical. They're better than us. They
played just flat out better than us. We got out schemed. We got out coached. We got out schemed. We got out coached once again, and I'm not worried about the offensive side because I know they will make the adjustment.
Right, exactly.
Because Dak said, we know what we need to do now. We know what we have to do on the road. Period. Right. Okay. But Dan Quinn. And I don't really see anybody on the defensive side of the ball talking about scheme. You see on the offensive side of the ball, they're always asking them about scheme and identity. But I'm like, what about this defense?
Exactly. And personnel. You know what I mean? Like, we always see the same line about there every week. No questions, no, nothing. Like I said, no offense to DQ, but you don't really see anything that different about the defense out there. You see this, the line.
Dan Quinn runs the most basic defense in the league. It's cover. We run man more than anybody in the league, and cover 3, single high safety more than anybody in the league. It's very bland. It's very basic. And the reason why we can hang is because we have the best pass rush in the league.
And I think what made I don't know, not to like you said, having a basic defense like this, and also at the same time for us to have our free safety to go out with an ankle injury. Really, because they said, I know he didn't practice. I don't know if he practiced that. I know he didn't practice. I think that Thursday.
Hooker. He's Hooker. I expect Hooker, Zach Martin, and Jonathan Hankins to be out this week. All 3 of them guys are going to be out.
Malik again this week.
I think he will. He's not practicing. He may play, but even so, like we have. We have Izzy McQuamu and Wanye Thomas that Dan Quinn refuses to play. This is what I'm talking about. This is why he's Dan Moore, because you have personnel you refuse to use. You have a bland, basic scheme that you're getting got. Like, it's not just, the Shanahans of the world. You got by Seattle's offensive coordinator. Seattle's offensive coordinator put up 34 points on you. If it wasn't for Dak Prescott, we lose that game.
Right.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I also have an issue with, granted, people say, Dak is out of the MVP race. Okay, whatever. If he's out of it, he's out of it. But I'm like, MVP should be looked at as total body of work. Not, I had my team, we didn't have a team. Now I'm automatically just a trash. Like, that don't make sense to me.
Exactly. And we see other quarterbacks
have
other bad games.
He's good because he didn't have some of his weapons. But he's unequivocally MVP. And then I posted on Twitter because they're like, oh, look at this. Brock Purdy, he's like number 2 in yards, right? He's number 2 in yards. But he's dead last in pass attempts. I'm like, everything.
I think in yak yards, I think he's almost leading the league in yak yards because of his receivers. And they're doing the work, and that's why they keep mentioning McCaffrey in the MVP race. That's why I'm saying it should have been Debo instead of Purdy because they're the ones making those yak yards.
Well, most people, everybody knows, like the media wants to give it to Purdy so bad, and I'm like, oh, he's first in this, he's first. I'm like, dude, it is the scheme. Granted, is Purdy making the throws on time? Absolutely. He's just like a Tua. These are accurate quarterbacks, and they fit the schemes very well. But if you take away the schemes, what will they be? Nothing. Right. If you take away if they take away their weapons and their offensive line, what will they be? Nothing. You will be nothing. You take Tua and put him on the Dallas Cowboys, or you take Tua and go put him, I don't know, versus on the Seattle Seahawks. Right, it's about a middle of the road roster.
Yeah,
Tua would be terrible. I'm like, it is the scheme,
right, and that's why they were having issues in the beginning of the season because they were having O-line trouble, and they're even still have rotational problems even to this day.
They are. People want, they're not Brock Purdy. He's not a system. He absolutely is a system to be. Now he runs Kyle Shanahan's system better than the quarterbacks that he's had since Colin Kaepernick. I will admit that, right? I will admit that for Brock Purdy. But regardless of that, like, bless you. But these guys, I'm like, Dak is really quarterbacking out here. In the freaking media, y'all just want to give it to somebody else. Y'all just can't give it to Dak. Y'all, just like Micah said on his podcast, y'all sit here and waited. Everybody loses game. Waiting on us to lose a game. So y'all can
see the damn segment on them burning MVP ballots for Dak.
They don't Jalen, who literally threw the game away. Josh Allen literally lost his team multiple games this year, but he's in the MVP odds.
Right.
Lamar Jackson's not better than Dak on any passing metric this year, but he's the MVP because his team is number 1 A. That's what I'm talking about. It's all bullshit. It's not based on
the goalpost because they always want to holler because there was, and I think there was weeks upon weeks where they were comparing Dak and Jalen, but anytime they had it,
they're weak, and they
too. All of a sudden quarterback record.
Jalen got blown out 2 weeks in a row. And they just talk about with his close loss to Seattle. Okay, we think he's out of the MVP race.
Right. And then you want to whisper it. Now you want to whisper it.
But you burning Dak's back, like that's what I'm saying. The media is so so fuck, bro. Like I hate to say it, but
like Micah said, it's sickening. Like y'all are literally waiting for this particular franchise, these particular players. And really on the serious note, like I mean, I didn't know this, but I didn't know until I saw it the other day on Twitter with people over a football game posting addresses. Addresses.
Like stuff is crazy, man. Like stuff is crazy. It's like that's why Mike McCarthy said like what these players deal with. What Dak
talk about it.
It was like no quarterback that I've seen, and Mike McCarthy's been in the league since Joe Montana.
Right, 90s, y'all, 90s.
He said, "I've never seen a quarterback face scrutiny that Dak Prescott face. I've never like anybody, Brady, Rod, every quarterback can have a bad game. Every quarterback can have a bad. They can have a few bad games. And like I said, this wasn't a good game, right? When it's Dak, is he really this good? I told you he was mid. Is he really
this good? It's a downpour.
Is it really this? His whole career is questioned when he has a bad
game. Exactly. It is crazy. It is, like you said, it's just crazy.
He's a choker, like.
Just like McCarthy mentioned in his press conference, like there's just a different amount and a different type of stress that these players face just being a Cowboy. Like, yeah, when people say that the reason this is happening because of the star on their helmet, yes, it literally is because of the star on their helmet, y'all.
That's exactly right. And it's like that for Prescott. He's so mid, but he's the only quarterback in the NFL that's expected to be perfect.
Right. Like week in and week out, not just career. Like you said, not just career-wise, not year-wise.
And if he makes one mistake, told you he's mid. Told you he's not good.
And let him have a good game though. And we gotta wait till this. That's when the goalpost move.
We gotta wait till that. Wait till playoffs. We gotta wait till playoffs.
Right. That's all. That's the only thing they can holler now. Like that's the only thing they have to fall back on.
Dak Prescott is the most hated player in the NFL. There's nobody that they hate, and it makes no sense. But there's nobody that fans, media hates.
Right. Walter Mann Payton of the year that these fans or that these people are hating.
Dak Prescott. They hate him. And I'm like, the only way now. And y'all might say, why are we talking about MVP? Because I care about Dak getting the MVP award. I believe he deserves it.
Right.
Like, if he didn't deserve it, I wouldn't be talking about it.
Exactly.
And we talk about distraction. It ain't a distraction for the players. Dak never cared about the MVP. Ever.
Exactly.
So it's not a distraction for us to talk about it. Like, I can talk about it.
And he's always been team oriented. He's always put it in. He's putting it
never been a distraction. Dak never cared. They came out, oh, you're an MVP. He was like,
right. He wasn't even fazed by the fans shouting MVP behind him during his post-game interview. You know, even the broadcasters brought it up, he was like, "Oh, he didn't even mention it." So
exactly. So I'm just like, it's just messed up. Like, this is what happens to he's playing lights out for us this year, and I want him to get the respect that he needs. That he deserves. He deserves
exactly. Yeah,
he deserves the respect. And so it's just like, it hurts me because I'm just like, things will never be fair. They'll just never be fair.
And not just.
Oh, they did it to Tony Romo. They did it to Troy Aikman. Not the same. It's not the same.
Right, and not just the respect he deserves, but there's always been talk over the years of the personnel that he didn't have, so that he can make this happen before, the coaching that he didn't have before. I'm saying this, and having Kellen Moore his entire career there while he was there. I'm saying whether he was playing beside him or
we'll talk about it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But y'all want to prop these gadgets. I'm sorry to say it, but that's what I think about Brock Purdy and Tua. They're gadget quarterbacks. Y'all want to use these gadgets just like Jalen Hurts was last year. These are gadget quarterbacks that y'all want to say is better than Dak Prescott, who actually is running his offense.
Exactly.
They just, some of them don't even make the adjustments at the line.
Exactly.
Make point out the mic. Like, some of them not even doing that. Like, being a quarterback is more than just throwing the ball, bro. Throwing the ball accurately. It's more than that. Oh, he threw it accurately. He threw it with anticipation. Like, okay.
Right. And also, exactly. And I know they talk about these rookies who come out fast or these quarterbacks who come out and like they say they want to put so much on Purdy and what he's done. But as we see with Dak and as other examples, as I always hear on Law Nation show, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, who took 8 to 9 years to get to their first playoff appearance or their first Super Bowl. And as we see with Dak going into his 8th year, he's now has the time. And he always says he's seen pretty much everything there is to see. He's seen the defenses out there. He's seen almost every blitz there is to see. So it's not just about being in the NFL. It's not just about being someone who can shine their first couple years out. It's also about having that time put in so that you can recognize these things coming at you. So that you can.
Who will tell about Noah had football fields in the back of his yard?
Exactly.
Look, does Patrick Mahomes? No. Lamar Jackson? Like, it's an insult. I'm tired of Dak Prescott getting insulted. And I'm like, it's not going to stop until we continue to raise our voices about it. Because Dak Prescott, he cannot defend himself. Right? Or you're just going to seem like he's bitching or he's crying or blah, 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 blue, blue, blue. So the only people who can do it is the fans. And so it's just like, at this point.
Right. And not just the fans, and not to cut you off, but not just the fans, but always kind of felt like and I'm glad to see the organization finally stepping up, and the coaching staff and the front office stepping and being for that, because I always felt, of course, it may sound obvious, but I always just felt that they had the obligation to stand behind Dak. And we always just kind of saw, and I'm still sure to this day they're not like buddy, but to see Jerry give Dak that vote of confidence.
They actually, but it's effed up because I'm like, Dak's been that person. He's been this person. But y'all had the governor on who y'all had this boy in here who ain't never called plays a day in his life.
Right.
Y'all had Dak's backup become his OC. Like, who did
that? Exactly. Y'all went and got Trey Lance. Y'all waited to the last minute to pay him his contract twice. And still talking about trying, renegotiating in the future, in the off season. So he still has to. I'm sure he's going to get it, but he still has to, quote unquote, work for it. You know what I mean? So he's always just kind of had this.
And we're talking about all this, guys, because Dak Prescott is the heart and soul of this team. It's not Micah Parsons, even though he plays a good role. It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's not DeMarcus Lawrence. It's not Zach Martin or Tyron Smith or Tyler Smith or who else on the defense. I'm not mentioning none of them else. Like, it ain't none of those people. It ain't none of those people out of this name. It's Dak. And it is very important how he plays, and it's very for our success. And it's very important that he be set up properly.
Exactly.
Because other quarterbacks are set up properly to win their games.
Exactly.
They're set up. Their coaches set them up. Mike McDaniels, on their Hard Knocks, he did a whole thing and went on a whole rant about how they lost to the Titans. And he was like, I effed up. Because he was like, I know, Tua doesn't miss those throws. He was like, it was me. I'm an idiot. But I'm like, do y'all take account Mike McCarthy and Schottenheimer? Y'all should be saying sorry to Dak. That whole thing saying, Dak, I'm sorry.
Right.
Because y'all let him down. It's like, y'all.
Period.
Now, my great season is now saying I'm just a fraud. All this crazy stuff. Like, y'all let me down. Did that be perfect? No. But nigga, how many games do I gotta be the Superman?
Exactly. Star, thank you. Do you know how many years he's had to? And it's been years, y'all. Where he's had to deal with. And there's no disrespect, but he's had to deal with subpar personnel who undrafted personnel, and there's gifted undrafted player personnel out there. But when you're only option is CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, who's coming off an injury, Noah Brown, Dennis Houston, y'all, Dalton Schultz, who catches and freezes.
Like,
there was no outside of CeeDee, there was no such thing as
Des Bryant and O.J. Swinton and Bryce Butler and Terrence Williams, who's not even in the league anymore. Like, get freaking real. An offensive line that ain't never really been healthy ever.
Right. That's what I want to talk about next time when we have our next show. Star is the O-line, and just kind of how I think it's kind of. I saw this. Tyler Smith actually was a star. Actually was a guest on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and actually talking about how Solar is kind of making a difference for him, how they're learning this year. How it was different for Philbin last year. And I think that this is O-line. I know that I probably had to get another center coming in here when we draft next year, and I don't know if they're gonna resign Biatch or anything like that, but we can potentially build another young O-line to where we can have one for years to come, because we have awesome. This past year.
I think we need to try to groom Awesome, because Tyler Biatch has got to go.
Right.
Because somebody, I don't know who said it, but they were like, Zach is having an off year.
I think it was Stanback. I think was it Stanback? I heard that same thing today.
No, it was one of our content creators that said it.
Oh.
I think it might have been Law, somebody. But Zach is having an off year because you have Tyler Biotis next to you who constantly needs help, and you got Terrence Steele next to you who constantly needs help. So it's like he can't just focus on his assignments. He's got to help this guy. He's got to help that guy. So it's like his play has gone down a little bit because of it. And I'm just like, wow, like I've been saying we need to get a better center because Tyler Biotis is just not it. He's not it. And I'm like, anytime PFF had him the highest graded on the offense, I said, listen, anytime that Tyler Biotis is the highest grade on offense, it was just a bad day at the office.
Right. Exactly.
Like and I'm gonna start looking into. I think we can groom awesome, but if they want to draft another, I'm gonna start looking in the center because we gotta. I really hope.
Didn't they say something about Bass playing some center snaps? TJ Bass. With like you said, with Martin, having kind of an up and down season, they might, do you think he'll probably stick him at right guard to be Martin's replacement?
Probably, yeah. They probably will groom him to be Martin's replacement. I think Zach will probably stick with us probably one more year or two before he retires. Same thing with Tyron. But I don't know, man. But anyway, I think that this Dolphins game is winnable. But this is going to really be. We should have named this show "The Battle of the Schemes" because that's what it's really going to be. It's gonna be the battle of the schemes. This is a coaching game. So I want everybody to know for you, if we don't win and Dak don't look good and CD and all these people, please know this is a coaching game. This is Mike McCarthy versus Vic Fangio and Dan Quinn versus Mike McDaniel. Mm-hmm. Just like last week, this is a coaching game, right? This is not a game where the players, Dak can put on his Hercules cape. I don't feel that way. And maybe he will. He does it damn near every week. That's what y'all ask him to do. Put on the cape, make a crazy throw that nobody's making in the league so we can win. And Dak does it. But we just forget about that and say, oh, no. We just forgot what he did versus the Seahawks in Philadelphia. We just won 5-6 games in a row.
Exactly. 6-game winning streak.
We won all those, but Dak's ass because we lost one game.
Right. That wasn't even on. That wasn't completely on him.
It wasn't on him. But I'm not saying Dak played perfect. He didn't play perfect. Okay, he's never going to play perfect, right? He didn't play perfect. Yeah, he missed the throw to Tubs. Okay, yeah, some passes.
Right, but that's why I talk about complimentary football because sometimes, and I think I heard this earlier in the week too, where I think it was Stanback who mentioned. Before we do get out of here, I want to ask you this: do you think that they maybe depending on how they do play, are they depending too much on complimentary football where one side of football does have to compensate for the other side? Because as we see, if we do have a game where both sides don't show up, then
it is. And I think it's like we know, but we haven't fully embraced it, that this is now an offensive led. No more deferral. Mike and Schottenheimer need to, if they don't want to tell Dan because they don't want to hurt his feelings,
right,
they need to have a talk. Mike, Dan, Dak, and honestly, the whole offensive staff.
Right.
They have a secret meeting and be like, listen, our defense, they good, but they are not elite.
Right.
We cannot rely on them to win games under any circumstances. I don't care if you watching this Micah, J-Ron, I don't give a damn. If y'all want to prove me wrong, go ahead and prove me wrong because all y'all done is right. Y'all we cannot rely on y'all.
I think all 4 losses we started behind.
Yeah, y'all are good defense. Y'all are opportunistic. I'll give you that. You're the top pass rushing league. Congratulations. Right. According to stats, y'all are number 4 in the league. Congratulations.
Right.
But we know when we go against real hard opponents, y'all are not to be relied upon under any circumstances. are y'all to be relied upon? Because y'all are dysfunctional over there. And Micah, you just want to stay in on the edge. All right, go ahead and stay on the edge. Whatever, man. Whatever y'all want to do, just go ahead and do y'all see. But the offense has to realize, like, we have to carry this team to victory.
Right. And they're gonna have to
the opening drive in the San Fran game. Defense gave up a touchdown so fast.
Right. And in Arizona, the opening drive.
They scored on the Bills game. Touchdown.
Yep. Arizona.
Trying to be physical. D-Law. Pushing Josh into the ground.
Yep.
Even though, was it really a penalty? No. But Josh Allen is a flopper. And they were at home. Like,
exactly.
Y'all trying to win the physics. That's what I saw in this Bills game. They're trying to win the physicality battle. I said, they trying to win the fist fight, but they're not trying to win the football game. They're trying to win because you can tell the way the defense and the offense at Martin, hitting people.
Yeah, getting in the guy's face. Like,
I'm gonna punch in the face.
Right, he could have gotten his face, but come on, bro. You just pushed him into his own side. I think it was. Like, come on, bro.
When I was right there. Defending Dak, I get that. I appreciate you defending Dak, but it's like, did you have to push him? Like,
jumping 10 feet in the air to get a punt.
We need to get him off of special teams. That needs to be Dorrance. We cannot trust him. I can't trust you, Sam. No. I love you. You got great athletic ability, but we cannot trust you. We cannot. He's just shown time that we cannot trust him.
He's got so much pent up, man. It's just
not disciplined enough. But see, he could get more playing time. That's what I'm saying. Like, Micah not wanting to play any linebacker is just it makes our defense less than what it could be. Because I tell you what, right now in Madden, you got Micah on the field and Sam Williams and Fowler and D-Law. Like, we got all of this personnel that you can have on the field.
Right. At the same time.
Like, you think Curse is gonna be on my field in Madden? No.
Not at all.
Love the guy.
Even Wilson might be fighting for a chance.
Wilson would barely be on my. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I love him.
He laying down some hits still.
Izzy one? Yeah, I love playing with Izzy on Madden. He's strong. He's like 6'4". He athletic. Like, J-Ron Curse, Donovan Wilson not gonna be on my.
Right. And I love Wanye's hustle out there. Shout out to him. Pretty much going sideline make that tackle on Cook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Passing everybody on the team. I love that he's getting more snaps. I think that, if possible, built up his confidence even more. He's finally getting a start.
And you know what's crazy too? One more thing is that I kind of knew it was good but bad. When we played the Eagles and you had J-Ron and them step up in spots that they shouldn't have played in, I just knew Dan Quinn was going to take that as, see, they're good. They're fine. Even though they're terrible, they've been mid to terrible all year. But see, look, they made a play here, so I got to keep it. Same thing. Exactly. Michael Gallup got the game ball versus the Eagles. Did you see him on the field versus the Bills?
Well, we ain't seen until a fourth quarter, I think.
Exactly.
Until he had a target.
Exactly. Mike McCarthy knows his personnel, and he knows. But Dan Quinn is playing the favorites game, and that's gonna get it screwed up. But anyway,
hopefully that doesn't. I'm really hoping that doesn't mess it up down the season, because that could really be a page turner. Either way, if he doesn't change.
If he does, because we can get got by Detroit. Now Detroit, they nasty and they run the ball and they have better personnel. I know we historically beat Detroit. Detroit has way better personnel, dog. Jameson Williams, that guy runs like 4.342. Jameer Gibbs.
I was gonna say, and that's when they don't feel like. Gibbs gets in when they don't feel like putting in Jameson, and that's when they don't want to put in Montgomery.
Sam Laporta is having a historic year for a rookie tight end. Historic.
Right. Amon-Ra St. Brown, y'all.
Like, we can get got by Detroit too. I'm not scared, but I'm saying if Dan Quinn, that film that he put up, He embarrassed us.
Right.
Other teams don't care. They will run the ball down our throat and embarrass us. And I'm telling you, then when you're gonna allow it to happen, and it ain't got nothing to do with player effort.
Right.
For real. The players was trying. They're not lined up correctly. Like Dan Quinn has the players at a disadvantage from the start of the play.
Exactly.
They all have a lineman, so they all trying to compensate and run over here and now
they're almost running just like they were running. I think it was the Patriots game. They had, how Gilmore was going sideline to sideline. It seemed like the running backs were doing that all game. Yeah, trying to follow the ball, trying to follow Cook, trying to decide between Cook and Allen. Like
they didn't know what to do. Dan Quinn didn't set up for success at all, and that's what Micah said too in that 49ers game. He said. He's like, we couldn't do nothing. And it's like, that sucks the wind out of your players because now it's going to be like how the offensive players were with Kellen. We don't trust you, dog. Like, we don't trust you.
Exactly.
We don't trust you. And you're going to start doing their body language, how they talk.
Their body.
You're making us look mid on national television.
Right.
You let us be embarrassed like that on national television.
Right. So hopefully, just to be able to, just to close it out a little bit, hopefully from the last big loss we've seen the Cowboys take in Week 5 against the Niners, we saw the offense, go back into the lab, figure some things out. So let's just hope the defense can do the same thing after this loss that we just took. Hope we figure out something with this run defense being, I think I just heard number 19 in the league right now as far as run defense and overall effectiveness. I think we're 32, y'all. So they really got to, get in the lab this week, figure some things out, especially against this Miami team coming up, because they ain't going to be playing no games.
Nope. That's what I'm saying. We're going to really see. We thought last week we were going to see what we made of. Now, this game is really going to show what we're made of.
Exactly. Both sides of the ball.
How good really is this coaching staff?
Exactly. Both sides of the ball, as far as players and coaching, are definitely going to be a test.
Right. For our Cowboys. This is a perfect test because the Dolphins are just like a finesse. They're they still are physical on defense, but they're just slightly, because they're so fast, they rely more on speed than physicality. They're like a finesse 49.
Exactly.
So this is a real test. Like I was hoping to split at least the Bills or the Dolphins game. We don't look
exactly
this Bills game. We're lucky because they're in the AFC, right? They're in the AFC.
Right.
If we want home field advantage, we really can't lose no more games. We cannot. None. Now the Philly is they're in a mess over there, right?
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee that they're going to lose against the Cardinals in the Giants.
Right.
Do we think they will lose against one of them? Yeah. But if we want to have any control over our fate, we need to win out.
Right.
We need to win this game versus tonight. It is important.
Exactly. That's one thing I want to see this year for once. That the Cowboys can actually control their own destiny for once. Instead of having to depend on another team.
Football guys threw us a bone. I really hope the coaches that everybody's really taking it seriously.
Exactly.
We really do. The way we're playing at home, like we really need a playoff. We need a playoff game at home, at least one.
Yeah,
at least one.
Exactly. And that could be a huge momentum. That could be a
huge momentum. Huge, especially if we're the second seed.
Right.
That means we will get two, and if we get 2 playoff games at home, and we don't have to see San Fran to the championship. We really need, this is a game we need to win.
Facts.
We need to win. We need
to win that, sis.
We have to win these games. I don't know how to do it. To be honest, and listening to all the content creators, we all say the same stuff. Like,
right. Do not play around. Do not play around.
Because this is how you had that thing F around and find out.
Right. That crap. That's Miami right now. That's Miami right now.
Will put up 100 on the script. I'm trying to tell you, he will put up 100. He'll have Tua throwing 5 touchdowns.
Right.
Tyreek Hill put up 250 yards on us. Like, if they can embarrass us, they will. And they don't care. You think the players, they the one who told Miami Downs, hey, hold off. we don't want to get cursed or whatever. You think they don't give a F? They're like, let's tear up the Cowboys, bro.
Right, exactly. On the national stage on Christmas Eve, y'all. Christmas
probably just showing them the Bills film, like, see, they can't stop the run. They defensive coordinator, he's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talking.
And then the number, I think the top 5 or number 1 rush defense.
Oh, they're number
one rush.
Yeah, they're number 1 rushing in the league.
So we have to.
Talk about Mike. I'm like, Mike McDaniel does like to pass, but we're now in the thick of you got to win these games to determine your seed. So if Mike McDaniel's like, listen, if we got to win this game by just running the ball all day long, that's what we'll do.
Exactly.
That's what we'll do. Like, he is stubborn, but it's a different. Like I said, this is getting down to who's going to be the first, who's going to get a bye week, who's going to get this, who's going to get that.
Yeah, and they actually haven't even clinched yet. So if they said, if Miami, I think they just learned in their press conferences that if they win, that they could be able to clinch a playoff spot this week if they win. So that could be motivation for them. And you know, McCarthy, I don't know what they said. They found out before or after the game. But, you know, we were able to clinch before we even played. But for them to be able to clinch with a win, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's, you know, added motivation for them as well. So just like McCarthy said, playoff games without playoff consequences just yet. You know, they have to go into this game very ready to be able to face whatever these. They got
to go in this game ready and fully locked in. Hopefully, Mike, I don't know what he doing, but I'm like, Mike, I hope you got those boys ready, and I hope you got them. I hope you got them boys motivated. I hope so. I hope you really talked to them and really told them how important this game is and how important it is that they perform better on the road.
Right.
Stop trying to win the physical battle and win the football. But let your play speak for itself. Stop trying to punch people and crack people's necks and backs. It's like, look around the league, J-Ron. Don't you see all these safeties who getting fined, who getting suspended? Why would you throw a hit like that? You're 6'4", throwing a hit like that against a little guy. He's like,
on his back.
Not like, why are you doing that?
Trying to send a message
on Twitter. Well, how was it elite? It don't matter. Be smarter. Smarter.
Right. If you guys can, if they can, just look at not every receiver, but think of every potential receiver as a defenseless receiver. That's what these refs are looking at. They're looking at the receiver. They're not looking at the defender. They're looking at the guy on offense. They don't. I ain't saying they don't care, but they're gonna put that guy on offense before the guy on defense. So they got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we gave you guys about an hour and a half, almost hour and a half of content. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Before you guys get out of here, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button. Thanks for spending you guys Wednesday evening with us. And hope you guys enjoy the holiday. I don't know if hopefully we'll be on the same schedule next week. We're gonna see. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. You got any closing words, Star?
Yeah, guys. Well, first of all, I want to say happy holidays because, you know, we won't see y'all before Christmas because Christmas is on Monday. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you guys so much for supporting Starchasers Girls Talk Ball. We really appreciate you. And just light a candle and send a prayer up and hope that we can come out of this game with a win.
Yes.
That's all I got to say because, you know, like I said, you listen to all the content creators, we like,
yeah, do your job.
We don't know. We don't know, but we hope we can win some way, somehow.
Right.
We know we can win, but it's like, is Dan Quinn going to do that?
Exactly. have the discipline going into this game. You know, just not being afraid to, I don't know. Fuck, you know, excuse my language, but fuck feelings. You know what I'm saying? Come into this game with the right scheme. The
right players. It's like we're trying to win. Like we need to win. We need to win, man. I tell you what, we lose this game because we get destroyed defensively. I've already said, and y'all can bookmark it or whatever. I'm out on Dan Quinn. I do not want him to return next year. I'm out on Dan Quinn. I don't care if we win a Super Bowl, if we don't win a Super Bowl. I do not want Dan. I think he has gotten, just like Kellen Moore, he got our offense to as high as he could. Dan Quinn has got it to as high as he can, and I think it's time for somebody else to come in, Joe Witt, Al Harris, who's not buddy-buddy with these players, and that will actually bring the best out of them by actually being a coach. Not with your best friend and uncle, but being a coach.
Exactly. I'm with you on that, Star. Like, I think this was a good year to see. You know, if they, like, I think that was a good point. If he could take this defense to another level, because like you said, we had these guys for a few years coming into this year.
It's like 3 years in the system, and your defense just looks
right. Exactly. We've seen guys here and there. We talk about Osa a lot, progressing his game from year to year, but we don't see this collective growth from the unit that we want to.
I know we're supposed to get off here, but that is something. I don't see a cohesive. How you see from the offense, I don't really see that cohesion on defense.
Exactly.
I don't see that cohesiveness on defense. I don't see them as we play together. We move as one sound. We move as one system. I see a bunch of players trying to make plays all the time who all want to just get sacks and get the highlight reel.
Exactly.
Besides D-Law. D-Law is the umpire. He's consistent game in and game out. And I want to see Osa. But everybody else, I don't really see that cohesion from them at all.
And to kind of extend on your point, I will say I see that when they are playing, you know, at a great level, when they are dominating. But I think what you said, it kind of tips the scales a little bit when their game does start to get off. Then we start to see even more of the individuality kind of come out of these guys, and like you said, trying to play that hero ball. Everyone trying to make a play, and we see them kind of
hero ball. Everybody's trying to make a play, and that's what really gets us got.
Exactly. Everyone's mind is kind of.
We're not singing together. When we're winning, they're laughing, they're cutting up, they're doing all this. But like when we're losing, when we're down, we're facing adversity. I'm not seeing them or the coaching staff be able to pick us up out of that.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know, but we just need to play our brand of football. We need to just play better. We gotta play better. We gotta do better. And you know, it's gonna take a real to really bring out the best in this defense and the players. I'm sorry, but I really do think like it's time for Dan Quinn to go. I know people might say, "Are you crazy? This man flipped our defense." And
yeah, but there's stages for all these coaches that come through here. They can take, like you said, it could be time for someone else to come in and take what and not take credit, but take what he has created and just kind of put their own spin on it, and it could elevate the defense even more.
Yeah, because Dan Quinn is just who he is, and he's not really going to change. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, we'll see what he does versus Miami. You know.
Right, because
who makes adjustments down the road, and I see people benched and stuff like that, I will change my tune. Be like, okay, Dan, you put me wrong, but for right now, what we're seeing is that you're just gonna stick to what you want to do regardless.
Exactly.
You're literally at this point choosing your scheme over players, and that's sad. But he's a scheme guy. This is my scheme. This is what you're gonna do. That's it.
Right, just like you said, Dan Moore. Because just like I said, just final point is we seen the number one offense. We seen the numbers when Kellen Moore was here. We see the same thing with Mike McCarthy calling plays, but we see the offense also elevated.
Right, the offense is elevated. Exactly. Like Dan, that's a good point. We can end on that. Dan Moore, you got the statistics. Oh, look at my defense this year. We're top 4. We're top 4, top 5 in the league. That's what Kellen Moore had too.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look at you gotta look at these games, these big games, and see what his defense look like.
Exactly.
And then you say, "Oh, okay." But that's exactly how I feel about him. He can change my thoughts on him by him actually making the adjustments and the changes.
Right.
But if he's gonna continue to not make adjustments and changes, not put the right personnel on the field, not encourage Micah to be greater than what he already is.
Please.
I don't really want you here because you're stunting this defense's growth. You're stunting
the best player on the team, the best defensive player
on the team. You're allowing him to tell you what he's gonna do, and that's not what a coach does. Right. You think if Jimmy Johnson was here, hate to bring up Jimmy Johnson, but You think if Jimmy Johnson was here, Michael would be telling him where I'm gonna play and how I'm gonna play? No. Jimmy Johnson will F around and you'll get your ass traded up out of here. Like,
right.
I kind of looking at how good and great you are, man. Like, right. But you shouldn't have to do that if you can talk to your player and be like, hey, this is how it is, yada, 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 yada. But even Jimmy Johnson wouldn't do that because effectively back then, that's like you're kissing your player's ass. I know I shouldn't have to negotiate with you. Right. Play what I tell you to play.
Right, you gonna do it exactly. That's what I'm saying. Start like
ride the pitch. I know people say, what?
And we have the depth. So send a message. Send that message.
And I love you.
We saw Dallas when he had his 3 targets that next game. He had all 3 targets now. All 3 targets.
I love you. I love all the players that play for our team. But y'all got to start choosing this team over y'allself, because that's the only way we're going to win a Super Bowl. You have to be selfless. Right. You have to be selfless, and you have to max out game in and game out, and you have to be disciplined, and you got to play as a team. You got to do what's best for the team. And it's like, Michael, if you say you really love this team,
right,
and you want us to win a Super Bowl, you need to do what's best for the team, not what's best for your pockets.
Exactly.
And that's what you're doing. Please, Michael. Like, help us, please. We need help. We need you to help us. Or exactly. Are you going to? Because if not, it just makes me like, I don't know. Anyway, we can get up here. Y'all done got an hour and 30 minutes of content, basically. So
yeah, y'all. Yeah. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that share button, subscribe, retweet us, hit the like, share our content, guys. Try and get our voices out there. Thank you guys so much for your time. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.